son of a bitch.
Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Because you are my friend.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 24 of Super Enabler Bros. I'm Jason, the Corpse Flood Gaming, along with my excellent co-host, Chris, the old ass retro gamer. How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
Going through it, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that. But first things first, we've got an awesome guest this episode, Jay from the YouTube channel Jay Bartlett, and why don't you tell them a bit about yourself, Jay, and
What's
what
up,
you do?
guys?
What you do?
Well, I make documentary films. We have a TV show on right now called Action Figure Adventure. We did a little indie film a couple years ago called Nintendo Quest. And yeah, over the pandemic, since everyone's taught themselves something, I taught myself video editing and lighting, and I did my own YouTube channel. Kind of started that, focused on toys.
Excellent.
So,
And,
yeah,
I've
good to
been
be here,
enjoying.
man.
I've been
Taking that
enjoying
Brave Star behind you.
3030, yeah, he's one of my favorite toys. He's
I
awesome.
remember watching that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I've been catching up on your YouTube stuff, and I've been a fan of the Nintendo Quest.
Oh,
I-
thanks, dude. Appreciate
I actually
that.
went to revisit it and kind of refresh myself on it last night, and I actually couldn't find it on Prime. Is it still on Prime?
Nintendo Quest. The Power Tour is the follow-up we did where we
Oh, okay.
toured the film across North America.
Okay.
It might be on Tubi still.
Oh, okay.
So my working partner Rob handles all that stuff. I'm just
Okay.
the guy who's in it, right? So he does all
Yeah.
the distribution and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it was excellent, and I've been loving the Action Figure Adventure.
oh, thanks, dude.
Anyone who was watching the show knows I like action figures a bit. So, okay.
A little bit.
Chris, sometimes eye rolls when it comes to the pickup portion of the show.
The internet can hear my eyes rolling. That's how loud eyes roll.
just a dry, gravelly scrapes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You guys looks like you like the video games there. Is that what I'm seeing with your backdrops a little bit? Yeah.
you betcha.
Good stuff.
Jason's
We're all-
Mr. Toys and Games, and I'm Toys and Movies.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Games and
Or I'm
movies.
Games and Movies.
Don't, you
I've
don't
been
need
sick I've been sick all week. Leave me alone.
Right. Well, we're happy to have you on the show, and
Thanks, man.
welcome. So, first things first, what have you guys been up to lately? We been watching some cool stuff, doing some cool stuff. What you had in the pipeline as far as like content and stuff the last few weeks? We'll start with you, Jay.
What do I do? So I just shooting a bunch of videos. We have our auction live for season 2 of Action Figure Adventure, so that's pretty exciting. Playing music each and every day, as long as I can, till my fingers fall off. Just that. Not a lot of gaming lately. I've kind of taken a break from gaming over the last, I think, 2 years. I haven't played a game in about 2 years now. Just kind of tired of the way the retro game scene has gone, and just
I
needed
get
a
it.
break from it personally. But
Especially pandemic, collecting wise, it has really
Yeah.
started to suck.
yeah, and it's funny. Rob and I were talking about if we were to shoot Nintendo Quest now, it would be like I wouldn't be able to do it. I couldn't afford it. Right?
Yeah.
We shot that back in 2014, and that was kind of I mean the retro game scene has exploded for a while now, but that was kind of before it got ridiculous.
Yeah,
The
before the
prices were
bubble.
already and counterfeit carts were there, but it wasn't an issue like it is today, where it's like if you're going to buy something off eBay or you're going to even from a vendor at a show, it's like open up, let me see the board. That
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
really a thing back then.
We'd have to do that at garage sales. That's sad.
Yeah.
Oh no kidding. Yeah. So yeah, it would be impossible today. Just wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yeah, perfect. We'll talk more about the Nintendo Quest soon because I got some
Sure. Yeah.
I got some good questions about that. Chris, what you had going on the last little bit?
I actually been playing games a lot now that I got the PS5. Yeah, I played through Horizon 2 Forbidden West. Took a long time for that. I've been playing that since February, and I beat it like 2 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
want to say, and then just beat Spider-Man Miles Morales yesterday,
Oh, chef's kiss.
and
Oh,
today
so
I started
far.
playing Guardians of the Galaxy on the PS5, which is pretty cool so far.
I love it. The banter between them, just the
Yeah.
entire time, it makes that game for me.
Yeah.
You know,
It's different. It's also different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like playing Mass Effect, and it's basically just a third-person, action game.
Yeah, it takes a little bit getting used to because you don't switch between the characters, but you can like give them commands and
Yeah,
tag team stuff. Once you get the hang of it, it gets better and better.
it's
And like I
pretty fun
said,
so far.
the constant banter in that game made it for me because it's hilarious and it doesn't like fall flat or anything like some
Yeah.
games. Like you're like, I wish these guys would shut up. I just want to get there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they did that right. And my only bummer is that they never brought out any figures to coincide with the game like they did with the lackluster Avengers game. I was kind of bummed about that, but what can you do?
Yeah, I'm on chapter 3 right now, so I'm not super far into it, but I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, I don't go out of my way to get platinums and stuff like that, but that one I was like, I'm gonna do it all. I gotta do it all. So good, glad to hear that. What have you been doing for videos and such?
I was actually considering making a new video this week, and then things happened.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even release an episode of the podcast I was supposed to on Monday, but I was passing in and out all day long. I was just like, it just didn't happen. So I'm gonna wait till next week.
What was it? One with a special guest?
No, it was not.
Oh. Well,
But I watched a couple movies sitting on my ass while I was sick from Netflix. I watched The Bubble, which I thought sucked.
yeah.
It's about making a movie while COVID is going.
Oh yeah, I seen.
It has
I seen the
Karen
trailer
Gillan
for
in
that.
it. I thought it was one of the most unfunny movies I've ever seen.
Ooh, speaking of falling flat, that's
Yeah.
nice.
And Metal Lords I watched, which I wasn't really that big on either.
I do want to watch it, but I've heard polarizing things. So
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
like,
character in it that is like so unlikable. I contemplated turning the movie off at least twice.
that's never a good thing,
Yeah.
unless they're like the antagonists. Then you're like,
No,
when
it's
they
one of the
when
lead
they get
characters.
when they
I'm
get
just like,
theirs at the end.
why are you acting like such a dick? Just chill out for a second and stop. It's like,
Yeah, I saw you also watched Turning Red. the other day.
yeah,
I've had to watch that.
Disney's attempt at like a first menstrual cycle PSA.
Yeah, my kids were pretty hooked on it. I've had to. There was a solid 2 weeks where it was like, my oldest liked it at first, but then was like, can we watch something besides this?
Yeah, I wasn't
So-
big on that one either.
Yeah,
Usually, I like, for some reason, Pixar movies just don't resonate with me like they used to.
yeah.
It's my cold dead heart.
I wasn't really into it at all either. So it's all right. But
One of my friends on Facebook basically summed it up best. He was like, "Can we make a Pixar movie where the bad guys aren't toxic family members for a change?"
yeah, that's true. Yeah, as far as myself, I finished building my shelves that I've been chronicling in episodes of this show for a few episodes now. Bought the wood, going, oh yeah, it's probably gonna be about $200 for the wood, and then I forgot that wood's ridiculously expensive now, and then $484 later, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't budget for that, but I also didn't ask how much is stuff. I was like, I'll get 12 of this, 8
It's
of
like
this.
going to a restaurant and ordering the lobster, and it just says market price on the menu.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, or when you go to a convention and nothing's labeled, and they just look it up when you ask how much it is. Yeah,
I have a store by me that does just that.
yeah, I think you told me about that. That's rough. But yeah, I was all excited, going, all right, I'll be able to get everything out in the same spot, and then have extra space. And then I started putting stuff on the shelves, and I was like, yeah, extra space. You're funny. So
Time to start using the ceilings.
yeah, that brings me to one of the first topics I want to bring up is it might be for a good thing, at least personally for me, but the ridiculous price uppage every like month. It seems like stuff goes up like $2, $4. It's not just happening with collectibles, it's happening with everything, but it seems like more egregious with the collectibles. I find, when the pandemic started, we got kind of priced out of collecting retro stuff because everything was gold, apparently. Even common games like
Duck Hunt.
yeah, Wii Sports was going for like $100. You're like, what? The game that came with every Wii? Yeah, that kind of
Everyone had 2 copies of it at home. They had a backup just in case.
That's like Mario Duck Hunt being $100. You're like,
Yeah.
why?
I wouldn't doubt it if it is.
Yeah, so I felt kind of priced out of the retro stuff, especially in the area I live where there's not really much, places to go shop for stuff. It's like, oh, hopefully someone locally posts something on Facebook, because ordering online is just nuts. But it's finally come to action figures for me, I find. And I know Jay knows quite a bit about that himself.
Oh, jeez.
And I want to hear some thoughts on it. So what's your thoughts? And who do you think the biggest offenders have been?
For action figures, Hasbro pretty much has a monopoly on every IP except for Masters of the Universe and Turtles. So they own everything: Marvel, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers. You don't really have a choice. If you want new toys, you have to go through Hasbro.
Yeah.
And the podcast we were talking about before we started recording here was one I did with my good buddy Michael, and it was regarding a Cobb Vanth figure that I picked up at Toys R Us, which is a 6-inch Star Wars figure from The Mandalorian, and he was $59.99. That's the price of a friggin' game. Right?
Yeah.
So, actually, my friend picked it up for me, and he's like, "I got this figure for you." I'm like, "Cool, man. I'll transfer you the $30." He's like, "No, dude." It was like, $59 plus tax in Canada is like $70.
Yeah.
For one figure. So that was maybe a month, 2 months ago, and that's when I really just put the brakes on everything. I'm like, what is going on here? Average price of a figure is $35 to $42. And I got to really question what's going on here. Do you know what I mean? So it's really turned me a lot towards vintage stuff, because if you're gonna pay that kind of money, get stuff that's going to just increase in value. I don't think a lot of the modern stuff is going to.
Not really, no.
In my opinion, it's all about the face mapping technology, and this Luke figure is better looking than the one that came out 2 years ago, and they just keep increasing. But I don't think these things will be worth a lot.
Yeah, incremental quality of life improvements is basically what you're paying for. Yeah, you're like, oh, this Spider-Man figure's knees bend a little bit better than the last one, so I got to get this one for more.
Yeah, this one's ankles twist.
Yeah, the pinless joints and stuff are like, they've been making advancements. Like I was an inbox collector until about a year ago. I think right around the time we just about the time we started the show, actually.
It's probably like almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah, so I kept everything in boxes. Sometimes if I got something cheap, I'd be like, ooh, I can buy one and open it. Or like, the real popular ones that I knew was killing my kids not to be able to play with, I'd be like, cool, I get to play with it a little bit when they're not playing with it. So I buy 2 of something. But it's at the point now where I'm like, I don't even really want to buy 1 of something, even if I really want it.
That, I call it the rule of 2. It's just, I love artwork, video game artwork, movie poster artwork, toy artistry. I love packaging. I think it's a big part of the item.
The presentation and stuff.
The presentation, there you go. So for me, it's really tough to open a lot of stuff. But that being said, I'll buy 2 if it's something that I really love and I love the artwork. But having the toy out and being able to touch it, which is a human sense that we have, and not a lot of people, acknowledge that. It sounds hilarious, but it's true. It's like when you hold the figure, you have a connection with it, unlike something that's just on a package on a shelf, right?
Yeah.
That could be the same for games, absolutely, because digital games, I can't stand digital games.
No, same.
I'm obviously you guys are physical collectors. Boom, right there. We did a movie about the importance of physical games, right? So you guys know. yeah, man, I'm not a huge fan of the price hike, and now windowless packaging. So it's just
Yeah.
you have to go on blind faith, and they try and
And-
lure you in with the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, which anyone who has a pulse who likes Spider-Man, that's the Spider-Man. That's the first
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So
Especially
everyone
when-
wants this figure, but you can't even see what it looks like.
especially since they in the same stream announced the retro edition Lizard, and in one of his heads is like the classic
Yeah.
comic head. You're like, oh, that'd be a good setup with Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. Get kind of a 60s
Yeah.
motif in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This past Tuesday is the stream we were talking about where it was primarily all Spider-Man stuff, except for them retroactively announcing the Thor Love and Thunder figures that were leaked 2 weeks prior and were actually showing up in stores before they announced them. But
Wow, I
and
didn't
I thought
know
that was fun.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
They're in
hilarious,
stores
actually.
already?
yeah, yeah, love it.
So then the movie doesn't
Wow.
come out until like
I saw
late summer.
I don't know when I posted because someone leaked a picture of them like just taking them out of the case, and then I tweeted it out like, oh man, that's hilarious that the figures are leaked before there's even been a teaser trailer for the movie.
Yeah.
And then
That happened with, I believe, the second G.I. Joe live action movie. The figures came out, they got leaked, and then they were
Retaliation. Yeah.
recalled really quickly. Same kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, who makes that kind of mistake? A company that big,
Like,
obviously they got shipped out and they weren't supposed to get shipped out, but that's kind of funny.
yeah, like so I saw stuff about them showing up in California at first, and
Yeah,
people are like, some people can buy them, other stores are like, oh, they're street dated and this and that, like you get with everything when it comes out. But I just thought it was hilarious that people are buying these and they're like, now coming soon, you'll be able to get these Thor Love and Thunder figures, and all the comments were just like, I got them at my house already.
Yeah.
They're on my wall.
that's funny.
But yeah, I was Spider-Man's kind of my kryptonite. Spider-Man and X-Men figures, especially when it comes to the Marvel stuff, primarily the comic stuff, but I have gotten into a bit of the MCU figures, but I try not to. It's just another thing I can cut out and be like, all right, at least I'm focused on one type of thing when it comes to the Marvel stuff, but I'll get anything on clearance. So that's what
It's
started
good.
getting.
It's really good, Jason, that you have that kind of discipline. Because guys like us three, I mean, we don't just like one thing, right? I've very rarely met a collector of anything who's like, I just like Star Wars and that's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare, right? So
I
to
only
be able to
collect-
have that kind of restraint is good for you, dude. I wish I had that.
I don't. I just I'm fronting big time. But yeah. Like at first I was like, I'm not getting any MCU. The only MCU stuff I'll get is if they're a helmeted character like Iron Man. And then we were going to, as soon as stores opened up after the pandemic, we went on a trip to Thunder Bay, and they have a Toys R Us there, which is a big deal for us. And we went, and they had a lot of Marvel Legends and figures that they had no business still being in the store. Like if the store was open for the last year, pretty much, like these wouldn't be here.
Sure.
So I'm finding like Civil War figures. I'm finding stuff from like 5-year-old figures almost. I'm like, wow, and they're all clearing out because they're old. But you're like, man, there's a good selection here. And my son was picking out stuff, and I want this Thor pack and this and that. And I'm like, all right, they're cheap enough, sure. And I'm like, we collect things together. It started off with like, oh yeah, he's got his own shelf in my room and stuff like that.
Well,
we'll just mix it with dad's stuff. And
Do you know what? That's really cool. I mean, that you do have kids, right? I personally don't, but you get to live through him again, right? So it's like I don't mind buying this stuff that I wouldn't personally buy because my son loves it. I mean, I think that's really cool.
yeah, and
Definitely.
honestly, what started me actually opening stuff is I started collecting the McFarlane DC multiverse figures. The first 2 figures, as far as I know, that they announced were Arkham Asylum, Batman, and Joker. And I kind of missed the boat a few years ago when they did the actual the whole
The Arkham
waves for the
videos,
game.
yeah.
So I'm like, once I found out, I'd find one, they'd be like, oh, this is the least desirable one. All the good ones are gone already. So I made sure to pre-order those, and Amazon sent me them. They showed up. Amazon determined that they were lost and automatically sent me 2 more without me even saying anything. So when I picked up my mail, because I live right on the border, I went across to my P.O. box. And there's 2 of each of these, and I was like, well, I'm not sending these back. 2 of these are getting open. Yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, well, the McFarlane packaging is not remarkable at all. It's just black and white.
It's actually terrible. It's embarrassing. And it's just a window. Yeah.
I gotta blame them. That's when I was like, you know what, this is really fun to actually open stuff. And I got like, oh, and then we started. That was like my opener set. Oh, I still keep Transformers in the box. I still keep.
Dude, do you collect the War for Cybertron stuff?
Oh yeah,
you got to open that stuff, man.
He did. He did.
Forget the boxes, man. Honestly, dude, let me just tell you this right now. Beautiful. Unless at some point in your life you think you're going to sell this,
I'm not.
And you actually think you're going to get back what you paid for it. First of all, you won't. Right. No. So if that's what you think, then sure, keep it in the box. But honestly, man, open it and freaking enjoy it. Don't take like a 1983 Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker and open that. That's not what I'm saying. But modern
There's things
stuff,
you just don't. But
vintage stuff don't. But I mean, modern stuff, man. Those Transformers War for Cybertron figures are so great, and it's the first time we've actually got Transformers that are to scale with each other besides Unicron. Right. They're all to scale. It's great, man.
They are amazing. That was the last collection I opened was my Transformers. It was the last holdout. Like I said, I was opening the McFarlane stuff. Then I was like, you know what? I'll open the little one-off stuff from like I like this figure from this wave, and I've just got this one kind of sore thumb on the wall that doesn't have uniform packaging. You know, all the Transformers generations.
Sure.
And, they all have like a uniform look that they look so cool when you got the whole set lined up, right? And like, you know, Star Wars, like behind you, look how cool that looks. Those are all like a uniform look to them.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, I was like, man, I gotta check this toy out. Like I just got more and more into it. And even after I opened everything, I think it was a solid month where I didn't open a Transformer. And I was like, you know what? And I opened all of them. I have about 300 something Transformers, and I opened them all. It was a lot of trips to the recycling depot with the plastic. And honestly, the big holdout for that was, as we were talking about, the art on the packaging. It wasn't an investment thing. I don't collect anything with intent to sell. I love my, I'll get a double of a game for cheap and be like, yeah, I'll trade that for another high-priced game. Like I don't really like selling anything. I hate selling stuff, actually. I'd rather trade. So I'm one of those. And when it came to the Transformers, I was like, I just love the packaging on this. And then it got to the point where I just opened everything, and I kept some of my favorite pack. I kept all the pack. I'd flatten it, and I got a bin that's just boxes.
Sure.
I don't know what I'm gonna ever do with it. But it was like a security thing for me. Like, it's not. They're not going back in the package ever. I'm made peace with that. But it's something about it. Like I don't know what I'm ever going to do with it, but I've got it.
Well, the Hasbro stuff, though, most of it you can put the figure back in the box, which is pretty cool, right? They've made it so the Black Series, Marvel Legends, even Transformers are a little bit harder, but you can still put them back in the box.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was growing up and you buy a Star Wars figure, you ripped it off the card and it was.
Yeah, you would trash that card. You would rip that
package,
that artwork right off.
That's true.
So it's good. I mean, they're catering towards both, right? Like in package collectors and out of package collectors. You can kind of have both worlds. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of times when I can't cut that tape. It's like, oh my god, if I cut this, it's crazy.
It's like getting a new car and scratching it before you drive away.
Yeah. You're like, actually just got Coronation Starscream from the 86 line.
Amazon has it.
I told Jason a while ago that would be the one Transformers figure I would probably buy is the Coronation Starscream.
I'm gonna shoot it tomorrow. It's my video for tomorrow. But dude, it was freaking $80.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I have a sneaky suspicion if you have Starscream from the War of Cybertron, there's been 2 versions of him. I have a feeling it's the same one. They just put a crown and a cape on him.
I don't know. I think he looks like he might be a bit bigger, but if he's not, we'll see.
He's a
I
leader
look forward to
class.
the
I've
video.
never understood all the classes and sizes, but I just know he's $80. I'm like, well, this better be the Starscream I've been looking for my whole life, right? I guess he comes with a throne too, but I
Oh,
don't
God.
know because the box there's no window.
Yeah.
It needs to
Right?
come with Rumble with a trumpet.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? That
Yeah.
would be so great. Yeah.
They'll probably put out a variant of him where he's like crumbling into dust at the same time.
That would be awesome if you did
Another
that.
great figure. Yeah, he's black and like
Yeah.
just charred. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great.
I actually
I-
bought the variant Prime where he's all gray. And I'm like,
Oh.
they called it something else, but I'm like, that's dead Prime from the movie. I don't even
Yeah.
care what you try to
No,
tell me.
that's child heartbreak there, right there. That's what that is.
I look at that when I'm not having a sad enough day.
Yeah.
Well, I need to brood right now for some reason. I'll just look at this dead Optimus Prime figure.
Yeah, you
But,
just look at him like, why am I crying?
Yeah, I'm pretty pissed off at Amazon. Speaking of Coronation Starscream, because when I put everything on the shelf, everything fits so nice, and there's such a finite amount of space left, especially after I bought the Arc, and it takes up an entire shelf.
Yeah.
But Coronation Starscream and Perceptor from Studio Series 86, I basically decided to concentrate on Studio Series 86, and I think I'm going to cut off Transformers there unless there's like I gotta have a character that I don't already have, and I think I have pretty much everyone. I don't have a Perceptor, so I was like stoked on that. They've canceled my order twice without telling me, and I go, "When's this guy showing up?" It said he was going to be released in April, and then I look, and it's just canceled again.
I go to Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah.
Now you do get, being Canadian, you will get the exchange. Plus, you'll get banged on duty, which is why my Starscream is $80. But you'll get it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like Amazon. I've pre-ordered a Storm Shadow on Amazon, and the box came crushed, and they don't care.
Yeah.
I've
Like, why would
generally
you ship
had
an
good-
action figure in like one of those bubble mailers?
I've heard people bought the retro Ghostbusters, and they were like folding the card in half to get in these mailers.
They did that to me when I bought what was it, the Little Mac amiibo? Back when amiibos first came out, I ordered it through Amazon, and it came with the flap folded down.
That's heartbreaking. Yeah.
I've had generally pretty good luck with .com and .ca, because I didn't even use .ca because I, in general, don't want to fuck with Canadian shipping at all. It's ridiculous. Where I can ship something from like Minnesota to Texas and it's like $6, but then I'm sending to something like if I was to send something to you, it would cost me like $50 to send you like 2 figures in a box.
Yeah.
And then
with everything going on in the world, there's so much going on right now. Everything is just out of whack, man. Right? So
I
I
wasn't
just
even
wonder
able,
how long it's going to take for it to kind of like start to move back to where it used to be.
it's
It's going to be
getting
a while.
there.
It's going to be.
we're
a while.
all waiting, brother. We're
Yeah.
all holding our breath, and just like maybe this season things will be normal, but it just never seems to come. I mean, anyway, we're not going to go on about all that stuff.
Well, the border
This is supposed to be an
open now.
upbeat podcast.
yeah.
The border is open now, so I was able to get my mail that was trapped across for 16
Great.
months.
Yeah.
That was quite a huge.
My buddy
motivation.
John, he's a big G.I. Joe collector too, and he hadn't been to the States in 2 years, so his P.O. box was like overflowing. He's like, well, I can't go, I can't cross the border, right? So they won't. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but he finally got all this stuff.
I think it was 78 packages I had over there, and
Oh my God.
they weren't like single items. Like some were stuff I bought from a Minnesota toy group I'm in, and I bought the biggest thing I bought was Omega Supreme.
Sure.
And from the newest one they put out.
Man, that's
Generations
a
one.
big box too. That one.
Yeah, and then another one was like several variations of all the jets and stuff. Like there was like all the War for Cybertron stuff, all the basically just different colors of the same mold. But I was all for it.
Sky Warp came in a 2-pack, and it was like $90. I'm like, ugh. And then it was like, what was that 3-pack with like Acid Rain or whatever those three?
The yellow, blue, and
passed
green one.
on those. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
The guy actually sold me all of those, and he gave me a really good price. And then the the repaint of Prime and Megatron where they are like cell shaded to look like the cartoon.
Yeah.
He's that, and then I ended up buying a Mega Supreme app from him after I got the other stuff, and it was all on faith. Like, well, you gave me a tracking number and it says it's there, so hopefully you didn't just send me a box of bricks with a note laughing at me. So I bought a Mega Supreme from him, and he sent it, and he gave me awesome prices. I would have passed on those Seekers too, but I was like, yeah, it was a glorious day when I got to pick that up. And then like 2 days later, the border closed again. I was like, oh, at least I got to see Spider-Man at the theater. But yeah, it was an ordeal. But now that it's open, it's just like, oh, I just need to afford to go somewhere. So that's hopefully coming soon. I'll be able to visit Chris there and our other friends in Minneapolis and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hugely
Get
looking
some of
forward
that
to
Chicago pizza.
Yeah, I've never been to Chicago, so this will, so it's an adventure I'm really looking forward to. All right, about some stuff we've been watching lately. Saw some. Speaking of the Thor: Love and Thunder, they actually did release a trailer. Did both of you check it out, or
Yeah, I saw it.
did you see it at all, Jay? No, I remember you did mention you're not too big on the MCU stuff. What'd you think, Chris?
They didn't really show a whole lot,
No.
surprisingly, except the only thing that didn't look like it was from another Thor movie was when you see Natalie Portman in the outfit at the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was outside of that, I was just kind of like, could have fooled me. It was a new one.
Yeah. You know.
I mean, I'll see it. I mean, definitely, I'll see it. And I like
Thor.
Taika Waititi as a director, so yeah.
There's not been too many of those that I haven't liked, and
Yeah.
I wear my Marvel
It
up
can't
on my
be any
sleeve.
worse than The Dark World.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely can't. And so I'm excited to see it. Glad to actually see something about a movie that comes out in like 2 months.
Yeah.
I get it. They didn't want to upstage Moon Knight, and they didn't want to upstage Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Which trailer I still haven't watched for that, because
I have refused to watch the newest one because
I don't.
from what it sounds like, they show a little too much.
Yeah, and like I was talking about this last episode, that we're all nerds, but then there's those particular guys that take it too far and got to like dissect every little frame of stuff, and then stuff that I'm like, oh, I would have been surprised by that. Thanks though. So, some guy posted a reflection from someone's glasses, and you're like, that's yeah, that's
the furthest I ever went with that kind of stuff with like any of the new movies was like I think it was the first trailer for the new Doctor Strange, where I was like, I heard Patrick Stewart's voice.
Yeah,
that's it. That's as far as it went with me. I'm like, I just want the movie to surprise me. That's all I want.
Yeah, I want to experience it, then I'll nerd out if I feel so inclined. But yeah, so looking forward to that. Some good stuff going on. Been joining Moon Knight so far. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
I'm not actually enjoying it at all.
You're not?
No.
Well, I've been looking forward to a Wednesday every week. My wife and I've been liking it. What the fuck is going on?
I mean, I've been watching it out of spite, but yeah, I'm not enjoying it.
It's exciting me that people will know who the hell Moon Knight is now.
I know who Moon Knight is through a coworker. That is his favorite superhero, so he's been dying to see it, but for some reason he's not willing to choke up the money to get Disney Plus so he could watch it.
That makes sense. Then pirate it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably what he's going to do.
I don't care. It's so many ways to watch, but yeah, I like it, but it's got a different feel, which is what I really enjoy about it.
So I like the fact that they're doing something different. I just don't like the story.
It's creating intrigue, but then it's almost too much, where you're like, can something be straightforward? A little bit. I'm feeling there.
I just don't think the rules that they've established make much sense.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, they haven't explained things properly.
Yeah, the last episode kind of threw me for a loop.
And for all the weird, strange things that have been happening, I mean, I don't like things spelled out for me like that, but at least give me a clue, you know?
We got 2 episodes left, and I'm just hoping it's a good payoff. But
like I said, if they stick the landing, you know, my tune might change. But as of right now, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah, I like Moon Knight. I'm just happy to see him on screen. That's not just like he's in the background cameo of some cartoon. I've always been a fan of him. I don't, to be honest, I don't know a lot about him, but I've always liked him. Anytime I've got a.
I was assumed he was like Marvel's Batman.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are like. Oh, like white Batman. He's just
Yeah.
like, Hawkeye, Green Arrow, kind of. Oh yeah, they just copied, but copy, but don't make it look like you copied, kind of thing. But I'm like,
stop copies me.
he's so much different than Batman. But that's generally what most people are like. Oh, it's like a white Batman. All right, that makes no sense.
I would always say that Daredevil would be Batman in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I was hoping you guys said that it's a much more serious tone, which is a gripe I've had with most of these movies. To a certain degree, I like the grittiness of the Netflix stuff. I like
that seems to be what they're trying to imitate. Is that because they put all those on Disney Plus now,
right? Yeah, which is great. I mean, first Luke Cage was great. Iron Fist, I could take it or leave it. I love Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones is my favorite.
To be completely honest, I love the sex, the violence, the swearing because I'm an adult. So don't censor me. And I read comic books that aren't censored. So the family-friendly stuff, like I really, honestly, guys, I don't know what you think about Hawkeye. I couldn't even get through the first episode. I was just like, I can't do this, man. It's just so boring to me.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Kingpin. It's like, it's like I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's.
Yeah.
I know what they're trying to do because, old dudes like me are like, I want to see the gritty Marvel stuff. So, here's Vince D'Onofrio. Trust me, it's going to be better. And
we
keep
want
hearing about these characters coming back, but
yeah, we definitely want more Marvel Max style. The Marvel Knights kind of more. Not everything has.
I want to see more of that Punisher.
I don't need to see a live action cartoon.
John
exactly.
Bernthal's Punisher was so amazing.
What it sounds like they're talking about bringing him into something, possibly Deadpool or whatever, but we'll see.
See, and exactly what you just said is what really irks me. It's like these guys should have their own show.
Oh yeah,
they should have their own show again. They should renew their contract and keep. Let's do Daredevil season 4, Punisher season 3. Let's go. But it's like, we'll just kind of stick them in here for now to see how it goes. I don't like that. No one will take a chance anymore.
Exactly.
And it's not even really a chance because these things were
they're already established.
Successful. Yeah, they were hugely successful. So I don't get it. But hey, I don't work at Disney, thank God.
As much as I love that there's a shared universe and not every superhero movie is that they're the only superhero in the universe that you know of, like Fantastic Four. They don't even mention Spider-Man or like in the old ones. And Spider-Man, like they don't mention like there's there might be like a little tiny Easter egg reference, but they won't out and be like, the X-Men should have been in on this. There's that used to bug me about movies, but now it's almost the complete opposite way where it's like they're they got to blend everything together all the time. Where you're like, can this guy just have his own movie?
The first season they talked about the incident. Which would have been the first Avengers movie, or the attack on New York or whatever. I thought that was cool without them like spelling it out for you. I'm with you, and I don't know how far you guys want to take this Marvel conversation because honestly, I could talk about it for hours.
Hey, I'm
going to say it, and this is just my opinion. Okay, I'm not saying I'm right. I think the multiverse is lazy writing. I think it's a cop out. I remember not too long ago, everyone hated Andrew Garfield. They hated that Spider-Man. And Tobey Maguire was cheesy. Sam Raimi Spider-Man, no good. It's all about Tom Holland. And now, because all three of them show up on the screen, everyone loves all of them again.
Everyone's like, they're
talking about giving him another movie now.
Yeah, everyone's a closet Andrew Garfield fan, like, oh, finally our boy gets his time in the sun.
It's like, but you were the same guys that crucified this dude that said, oh, this isn't how Peter Parker should act. He's too smug. He's too arrogant. Come on, man.
Yeah, when Garfield showed up, when I saw it in the theater on opening night, when Garfield walked out, people like stood up and applauded. And I was like, where were you 8 years ago?
Exactly. So I liked, he's my favorite Spider-Man. I don't like Electro. I don't like what they did with Electro in those movies. So I'm not going to deny that. But I thought he was a great Spider-Man. I love Tobey Maguire. None of us like the third one, sure. But it's kind of like, when the newest director would come and do the newest Batman,
Yeah.
it's like you didn't
Like
trash the
Schumacher.
Batman before it.
Yeah.
Well, except the Schumacher's one, Batman and Robin. Batman Forever is okay, but
Yeah.
you know, you just kind of accepted it as its own thing, and now their inclusion, and obviously Doctor Strange is going to do this with the Fox X-Men and all that stuff, right? But now it's like you got to include everything, and I heard whispers about Ben Affleck's Daredevil
Yeah. I
coming
don't-
into this and all that. I'm just like, what
I don't
is
think
going
anybody
on?
wants to see that.
No,
Yeah,
but dude, mark my words. If he shows up and John Favreau is Foggy, like he
Uh-huh.
was in the movie, everyone will lose their minds, man,
Yeah.
because nostalgia is such a powerful
He was
drug,
always
good or
favorite-
bad.
Yeah.
People are addicted to it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I think we talked a bit about it on a previous episode, Chris. How our thoughts were basically like we like the cross stuff. It's good to see stuff that you like, but like not everything needs to come in. We don't need,
Yeah.
we don't need Jessica Alba Sue Storm to step out of a portal. We don't
Yeah,
need.
I saw every character on screen in Endgame. I don't need to see that again and again and again and again.
Like we said, we don't.
You
They
know,
don't need.
it was,
to
it was
up the
novel
ante.
once, and you're just gonna ruin it.
We don't need to up the ante every movie. And just like Star Wars is starting to learn that every movie doesn't need a Death Star. It can be about a small group of heroes. It doesn't need to be the entire fate of the galaxy. You can actually just have a story about a small group of people. You know, so it's like, it's yeah. I hope they don't try to take it too far, and that's what I'm cautiously optimistic about Multiverse of Madness. I'm just hoping they don't, jump the shark with it.
I hope it's still a movie about Doctor Strange in the end. That's what my thing is.
They already have. It's called the Multiverse of Madness. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All these old, actors, like you said you heard Patrick Stewart. That's the first I've heard of it. So you got Patrick Stewart's Professor X is going to be in there. So you're going to see Deadpool. You're going to see Ben Affleck Daredevil and all this stuff. It's like I don't care.
Yeah, I don't need all that other stuff. I
want to watch a Doctor Strange movie. Yeah.
I'm fine with a new one.
Need to make everything one. I mean, the only film franchise I can think like comic book style is Star Wars, where it's just been one continuity. There hasn't been any multiverses or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the comic book movies, this is one reason I stopped reading comic books, was because they're doing this multiverse crap. Is they would kill a character
or reboot it.
They would kill a character like Superman. They killed him in 1991 or 92, whenever it was.
I think it was 93, yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, the doctors of Earth just couldn't hear his heartbeat because he's Kryptonian and it slowed down to preserve his body. It was like 6 months later. I'm like, what? I remember, and I'm not even
ruins
kidding,
death in comic books.
Reading this and crying, just being in tears. Like this alien from out of nowhere beat the shit out of him for 6 months. And all these issues. It wasn't kryptonite or anything like that. He beat him to death.
Yeah.
And it was brutal, and it was what I thought was honest, and they killed the greatest superhero of all time. Yeah. And then 6 months later, oh well, he wasn't really.
Yeah, he was.
I remember that's when I was like, you know what, I'm done with this stuff.
He had to sleep it off. He had to sleep it off.
Yeah.
That's when my dad kind of got me really into comics. Like I had a few comics. Here and there, but my dad's a huge Superman fan, and when the lead up to that was coming out, I think maybe he just heard about it somewhere. I'm not sure where.
It was on the news, man.
We started buying the issues.
And people at school that weren't into comic books were talking about it. That's how big it was.
So we actually used to have somewhere we could go buy comics in town, and we would go down every Thursday. I think it was new release day, and we would just load up. But we'd get Superman and anything that pertained to Superman, and then I could pick out a couple of whatever I want to be, a Ninja Turtles and a Spider-Man or whatever. And we read through this together, and I just remember being like, wow, it's finally something that, like, even as a kid, I was like, finally something that's not like, oh, he's got a kryptonite sword or a kryptonite this or magic or something. It was like an honest, someone actually bettered Superman and kicked the shit out of him.
It was just,
and that's what I've always said. It was like one of my favorite Superman storylines.
Yeah, it was a fight, and it was a fight that lasted through all the different Superman issues, a lot of the DC crossover issues, and he just got beat to death. He got thrown through Metropolis this way and that way for months, and it was really cool, man. And I remember being so emotionally invested in this that when it came time to reveal that he didn't actually die, honestly, I felt so cheated.
Yeah. When he just showed
put
up out of
so
nowhere
much
with that black
emotion
suit.
into this, and you know, you kind of let that stuff in. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it's true. Right? You let that stuff in, and it's like you trust it, and then it's just taken away from you. Oh, that didn't really happen, and then you feel stupid. I remember feeling dumb. I'm like,
well, that's the
this was
cop
on
out.
yeah,
And then they gave us electricity, Superman.
It could have been, it could have been like when he lost his power. Oh yeah, that was the
Was
worst.
it those 4 Superman? I can't even remember. They're so
Oh yeah, the Superboy,
forgettable.
the Eradicator, Steel,
the guy with the big sledgehammer. I was like, what
and
is
Cyborg,
what's going on?
Cyborg,
here,
Cyborg
man?
Superman, yeah.
Oh, they just needed to make a Shaq movie, so that's where Steel came.
Ugh,
But
don't even.
yeah. But yeah, it was I remember even then I was like getting right into Superman, and once that happened, it was like a dick punch to my caring about Superman. And I don't think it's ever fully recovered.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if
like
you
he's
think
got his
about Superman, I'm not taking anyone out there who's listening who loves Superman. I get it. He's the ultimate superhero. He can't be killed.
he's so OP,
But to me, Superman is very boring. It's a very boring comic to read because he is invincible and he has every power.
yeah.
So
He can even kiss people and make them forget things.
The only time he loses is when he's not fast enough to get somewhere or something.
And when it's convenient.
the notion to even think that you can have a Batman versus Superman is laughable.
Yeah.
That why the Dark Knight is even in the Justice League, I'll never understand. Why he's a part of this
they need
elite group of superpowered heroes, and Batman's he's the world's greatest detective.
They need to fund the giant space station hideout.
They need a guy to fund everything. Is what they need. They'll get Bruce will fund all this.
He's the money.
I saw the meme again too, where Superman was talking to Lex Luthor, and he's like, "Of course, the Justice League will pay for the damages," and then you just see Batman standing there looking all Batman-y about it. Yeah. But so. Yeah.
When I think about the Marvel stuff, like the Marvel movies and the TV shows, it's too much too fast, and there's always something that you have to watch, right?
Yeah.
They line it up so they want you to keep subbing to Disney Plus. I get the business side of it, and I don't fault them for that. But I don't want to watch Hawkeye, and I don't want to watch all this just mediocre stuff over and over again. And I had greatness. I had an adult version of 4 heroes, and Daredevil's always been my guy. But the 3 others, I really didn't know anything about. Cage or Jessica Jones, and I fell in love with all those characters. And it was great because it was like your big boy version. It was like Frank Miller wrote all this stuff, right?
Exactly.
And then you watch stuff like Hawkeye, and it's just so juvenile. And in most of the Marvel movies, this is just my opinion, I think they're just so soft and juvenile, and
they're pandering to as big of an audience as they can.
And again,
they got to make that
business
1.5 billion every movie.
I get it, but I don't like that stuff. I like some adult.
Oh yeah,
or like adult themes, right? So
like we've all been through our childhood, so we don't need the cartoons anymore. We're like,
which is what was great about Tim Burton, Batman. It was, especially the second one, was horrific. Like Penguin is this ghastly,
bites a guy's nose off almost.
But he's like oozing black ooze.
Yeah,
and it's it was so disgusting and. It was awesome. And even the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight stuff, obviously Joker, like that stuff is just incredible because it's so dark and gritty and Batman loses, and I love it.
They're not perfect all the time. As in general, that's kind of what I like about Marvel characters, is like they have their faults, and that's like, Stan Lee's talked to death about how he wanted his them to be more relatable because they had faults, but you don't really see any of that in the movies. It's just like,
no, you don't.
They're everyone's got to be Superman. Everyone's got to,
because no one wants to come out of a 2-hour movie and feel like crap.
Exactly.
And I think that's were any of you guys around when Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980?
Oh yeah,
you guys around then? Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you didn't feel good coming out of that one. That
in
is
fact, I remember everyone I knew absolutely hated that movie when it came out.
Yeah.
I remember
like the way that some of the modern Star Wars movies got hate. Every time I tell people that, at the beginning, nobody liked Empire Strikes Back because of the way it ended back when I was a kid.
And George and Lawrence Kasdan took an absolute gamble because George wanted to tell the story he wanted to tell, and he didn't care about the Hollywood machine. He never did, right? So it's like, this is the story I want to tell. And, for 3 years, in fact, we're like, okay, Luke's messed up. Is this really his father? Is Han dead?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
where's Han?
Yeah, there wasn't even
3
an internet
years,
to
man.
speculate on anything like
That's
this,
heavy
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't do that anymore. They don't do that. I mean, I liked Force Awakens. I really did. I liked the cliffhanger ending where she hands the saber to him and he doesn't take it. I thought that
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah. Everyone was dogging on that movie, but I honestly liked it more than it seemed like a lot of people. You're one of the first people I've heard outright say they liked it. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just member berries, the movie." I'm like, I don't know. I guess I
No,
like
that would
Member Berries.
be Rogue One. Rogue One is my least favorite Star Wars movie, and I always get
Really?
shit when I say that. I can't stand the movie. I hate it. Yeah.
Last Jedi would be my least favorite. I think overall, I hate that movie.
No, my least favorite is Skywalker.
Yeah,
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, you know what?
I can't even watch it.
I've only
No.
seen it 3 times, and I actually bought the Blu-ray when I'm a huge Star Wars is my thing, and I bought the Blu-ray, and it's still in the shrink wrap. If you
Yeah,
can
same
believe
here.
you're like, I gotta
Yeah.
have it in the set, but I don't have to watch.
I got
it.
a
You
real
can't
cheap
make me-
3D Blu-ray of it I found on eBay, and I still haven't unwrapped
There's
it.
ideas. I loved the
Yeah.
ideas in it. I love the Indiana Jones dagger archaeological item. I thought that was great. It's just your studio execs poking their nose in and changing things on the fly to the point where Daisy Ridley didn't even know what was going on. And that's when I was like, reading interviews with her and John Boyega, and they're like, we didn't know from scene to scene what was happening.
Like,
Because
hopefully this goes
Kathleen
together.
Kennedy, she would come in and she would change it. You can't. How can you mismanage the world's biggest film franchise like
Right.
this? How can you do that?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't
did.
help when you've got someone set to direct your trilogy, and then he leaves in the middle, and you bring in someone else, and then he comes back for the third one. So it's like, and you got two people's conflicting visions, and more than two people, obviously.
See,
not
that's
two people, but-
Kennedy's fault, and I'm not a
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy hater, but you have to get Ryan Johnson and J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan talking, because all the characters that Larry built up and J.J. Started this journey when Ryan came down, and it's like, nah, Ren's not going to have the helmet anymore, and Ray's from nowhere. So everything that JJ set up, he tore down. So then JJ had to come in for the third one and clean up the mess.
And they had no idea what to do with Finn after the first one. Finn had so much potential, the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second one, what I said to Last Jedi, if they cut out Finn's entire storyline, the movie would have been better for it. Like, you wouldn't have even noticed. Like, none of their stuff really had any impact besides trying to, I don't even remember anymore. But besides that, and space flying Leia, I think were the biggest errors to me.
I'll defend
I'm like-
that to my dying breath. I think that part was great.
Yeah, same
There
here.
were so many things in Star Wars that we saw for the first time that we'd never seen before, and that was another one. Do you know what I mean? So I don't blame Ryan for taking chances on doing something new. Remember when filmmakers used to do something new?
Yeah.
But that was
problem
why it
is-
reminded me of Empire when I was watching it.
Yeah, dude. The problem
was
is
like-
you
it's
have
like-
a generation.
I didn't
of-
expect half this stuff to happen.
You have a generation of filmmakers now that are making cinema based on the movies they love,
Yeah.
and that's a real problem.
It's a tightrope to walk too, of trying to pay tribute without.
You don't.
Just
But you don't have
vaping
to.
on
pay,
it
you don't
without
have to
vaping on
pay
it.
tribute. Why can't
Yeah.
you just write a movie that's good?
Exactly.
Why can't you just?
But-
Tell a
This is what
story.
I want to do with these characters, and that's what Ryan Johnson did. Like it
Yeah.
or not, that's what he did. And
Exactly.
the film bombed, and now J.J. Abrams comes in. It's like, well, fuck it. This thing is screwed. Let's bring back Palpatine.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
What?
Once the trailer dropped and you hear him laughing in the background, I go, fuck this movie.
Yeah, I was talking to you about it too. I
Because
remember that.
people know him. Remember him, the Emperor. He's better than Snoke, right? Like, remember him.
And
Okay,
that
this will
great
save us.
line in that movie too is like, somehow the Emperor has returned.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't understand it either. We don't
He's
understand it at all.
conjured a fleet. Not even a fleet. Like, how many Star Destroyers were there? Like,
There must have been like at least
Thousands.
200.
So he conjures all.
And they have Death Stars built into them.
Yeah, I mean, and then Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on about that.
Still like Star Wars, but sometimes Star Wars isn't all. It's
Well, Mandalorian was great, and then what do they do? Oh, we got to put Ahsoka in there because we got to push the new show that's coming out. We got to bring all the Bo-Katan and all that stuff. And I remember I was like, no, you don't need that. The first season was so good because you didn't have anything to do with those characters.
Right. It was just
What happened to this galaxy that's so big, but yet it's so small because all these writers won't go off that path.
Everything comes back to Luke. Everything comes back to like no one can have their own lives on their own. They're all NPCs that only exist if they interact with a Skywalker of some sort.
You know what would be great? A show about the Mos Eisley Cantina about the bartender.
Yeah,
and just like
that would
daily
be funny
life.
as an anthology show. That would be
Wouldn't it
awesome.
be great, just to see the kind of stuff that they see,
Like a reenactment of somebody telling them a story of something that happened to him while he's bartending. You know,
I would love.
Let's make it happen, guys. Let's all do it.
Let's do it.
We go TM.
Yeah.
TM your ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd totally be down for some sort of live action anthology Star Wars thing.
Yeah. I mean, not everything has to be the fate of the universe, and that's unfortunately that's all Disney knows. Is everything has to be so big, the world's going to end, and that's why I like stuff like Daredevil. Because like he's just fighting this
Hell's Kitchen,
he's you could get Iron Man to come in there and punch friggin' Kingpin's head off.
Yeah,
but that's not what that's about, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's he just cares about his neighborhood. He doesn't even care about the whole city. Like
he's just like
Hell's
prowling
Hell's
Hell's
Kitchen is his area. That'd be like if Batman was like, man, I just got to keep the crime out of Crime Alley.
Well, that would be
respect
direction when Tom Holland became Spider-Man. That's what I didn't like, because it was almost an Obi-Wan Luke mentorship with Iron Man.
Yeah,
and he got that Iron Spider suit and he could fly in space, and I was like, what is going on here? Like,
I'm all for more suits. We all know that I love my multiple Spidey suits, but
yeah, but I mean, I don't think Spider-Man is in that same. He's a city hero,
right?
He's
a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
He's a city hero, like Daredevil, like Black Cat. They're city heroes. They're not these cosmic fighters. Be like if Daredevil got a flying suit, it would just be like, what is happening? Don't even think about it, Disney, if you're listening.
No, like give a squirrel suit.
They're like, he does have sonar.
Yeah.
But it's like everything we like. We're not gonna enjoy everything about it, but yeah, I'm pretty good pushing back things that bug me in movies. So if something really bugs me in a movie, it's got to be terrible. I find do
you know what's weird?
I can just enjoy. Like I can enjoy parts of Spider-Man 3. Like we're talking about.
Oh sure.
No one enjoys that.
Yeah.
Like I can compartmentalize a part and be like, oh man, I really liked that. And I remember just being so excited to see Venom on screen, and then I seen the trailer and I was like, still trying to be excited, but I'm like, what is going on? Like I wanted Venom. I've wanted to see Venom in a movie since I heard in like '95 that they were starting to look at making a live action Spider-Man movie. And then
my thing is the need for us as fans of whatever to you heard people say what's a good example? My buddy is obsessed with Breaking Bad, right? So he loves Better Call Saul. I watched 2 seasons of Better Call Saul, which is more than I wanted to, because I didn't like it. I personally didn't like it. So he's like, it's in the 4th season now or whatever, and he's like, oh man, you got to check it out now. It's like, no. Like I gave Hawkeye like half an episode. I'm just out. I don't like people that are like, oh man, after like the 1st season it's great. It's like,
if it's not good from the beginning, then
I don't have all this time to sit there through like 22 hours of a TV show that might pay off for me. You know what I mean? If it doesn't grab me pretty much right away, like
yeah, we 100% hear you. That I was actually talking about trying to get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, and then Chris was like, yeah, exactly. It was like wasn't it after the 1st season or towards the end of the 1st season it starts to get good? I'm like, I've already watched like 8-9 episodes and I can't care.
Yeah.
And then multiple people are like, season 2 and 3 is good. Then it kind of sucks again. And
it was
I'm
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. shouldn't have started when it did. They should have been a mid-season replacement, because it all hinged on what happened in Winter Soldier for the storyline to actually start.
Yeah.
Because until then, it's just like watching X-Files.
Yeah. So yeah, I
It
couldn't.
makes like no sense. It's just dumb.
Right.
I couldn't
I've
care.
never seen
So-
it. I think it's an interesting idea, but I've never watched it.
Yeah.
But I was just going with like how much I generally like the MCU stuff. I was like, I really haven't watched much of the shows. Like, and Disney Plus, I've watched all of those, and they're hit and miss for me. Like, I really like WandaVision. I really didn't care for Falcon Winter Soldier. I was like, if you like, and people look to me to ask me, people I know will just be like, should I watch this or should I watch this? And I was like, I can't recommend Falcon and Winter Soldier unless you really care about those characters and their development. Because aside from that, if you're looking for it setting up another movie, I don't think you need to worry about that. So it's like one of those things where you're like, yeah, it's good character development for those two characters specifically, and a couple of without spoiling it for them.
I've heard that the show is really great. I haven't seen it, but growing up, and we're pretty much all the same age, I'm guessing. Like, I never heard once anyone ever say my favorite hero is Scarlet Witch or Vision. I've never heard that from anybody.
No.
Right.
First
So I'm
time
not
I
sure
heard
this
people
goes
start
back-
talking about Scarlet Witch, I guess, was when the House of M storyline happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that was pretty much when I was like, who?
Well, but up to then, I just knew her as Magneto's daughter, and
And everyone calls her Wanda now, and it's
Yeah.
just, again, I haven't seen the show, but I'm like, well, that's Scarlet Witch, isn't it? Like,
she was the. I don't want to spoil anything for you in case you do intend to watch.
dude, I
it,
don't
but
care.
she
If I
becomes
haven't
the.
seen it. Listen, if I haven't seen it by
It's
now,
the
dude,
lead up to her becoming Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she becomes
Oh, okay.
Scarlet Witch at the very end.
Okay.
She gets the actual proper Scarlet Witch look.
Yeah,
that
she gets
she has
the
in-
crown.
Yeah, she wears it as a Halloween costume in the middle, and then all of a sudden she like I don't know.
Manifests like a goth version of it.
Yeah,
I can't believe like these characters that are like C characters like Moon Knight are getting shows. I mean, it's good and
Yeah.
bad. I heard
Yeah.
that they're trying to shoehorn Jessica Jones into the She-Hulk.
yeah. I don't know.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean the She-Hulk? Oh, She-Hulk's getting a show. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and
Like,
I'm
we're
like,
getting like
I'm like, you haven't even
nothing
developed
against-
the action.
nothing
Yeah.
against She-Hulk, but I mean, we're really going down the wrong as far as characters go now. You
Yeah.
know what's next? Like a Squirrel Girl.
Probably. I was
Actually,
just
that would
talking
be
to
a-
Jason.
That would be a really cool.
She probably has an animated series on its way. I bet.
I wouldn't
That'd be
doubt
a
it.
cool show considering she beat up Thanos. I would like.
I just want to
that.
see something with Nova in it.
Well, I just think it's
Nova's great.
it's kind of
New Warriors, man. I love the New Warriors. Night
Yeah.
Thrasher. That's
Like
that's some
Marvel
amazing-
Green Lantern. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I just think it's silly that they're putting out a She-Hulk when they haven't even actually developed Hulk properly in the movies. Like, do something with the actual Hulk.
That,
no,
what
it's
it
like
is.
also
the
no-
only
also no slight on She-Hulk.
That's a rights. The only reason he's been like that is it's a rights snafu right now because he's still owned by another company, and the only way he can be in the movies is if he's in someone else's movie.
Yeah, distribution
Yeah.
is part of what Universal still or something like that.
So it makes sense to have him shoehorned into other people's things because they can't
But-
actually do it legally.
But I think out of all the characters that they've had in the MCU, I find that Hulk's been done the dirtiest. The Incredible Hulk movie, like it or not, was like the most Hulk he's been and hasn't really kind of been that since at least Age of Ultron. He's
Oh, when he went all rage.
Yeah.
Smart Hulk just showed up out of nowhere, and you're like, okay.
I think
And
my
they
main
took-
problem with the Avengers, and I apologize to any listeners who are sensitive, I just think they're boring. Like Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, they're really boring to me. They're just plain Jane characters, and that's just my opinion. I like characters who are vulnerable. I mean, like Tony Stark. I mean, Robert Downey's fantastic, right? As Tony
Yeah.
Stark, but I mean, I would rather watch Batman. It's essentially the same thing, except minus the tech stuff, I guess.
Well, he's got tech, but just not. He doesn't wear it all.
He just
But
looks at
I-
it in the dark.
I mean, literally, his comic was called The Invincible Iron Man. Like that to me is just boring.
Yeah.
Right, this guy flying around in his suit, blowing up stuff. But I mean, that's my thing. So I always gravitate towards, again, the Batman stuff. You know, the stuff that's a little lower, a little more grounded, where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, a dude with a gun is a threat. Like I like stuff like that.
Yeah, you want to feel like they could die on any page of the comic. Like
Yeah,
someone could
and
just-
again, I can't say enough good things about Netflix Daredevil. So almost every episode that he was in a fight, he gets his ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has to have a recovery.
By the end of
like
that first
a week
season, he's a
after.
walking scab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this guy is like a martial arts expert, and he still gets his butt kicked, right? So
Yeah.
I like seeing that stuff.
Yeah. There's nothing I hate more than seeing someone come through unscathed. Like that's what I like Ghost Rider, but I've seen the movies and I can't say those are my favorite.
That's why you shouldn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So I like, I was excited that Ghost Rider was getting a movie, and then you go see the movie, and they toss him around for 10 seconds until he goes, "Oh wait, I've got a power that kills you immediately," and then there's like no actual struggle in that movie.
Well, that's what I meant.
Like he just like nothing really hurt him because he's he's the spirit of vengeance. He's not just a guy in a suit.
Well, that's the main problem I had with Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with everyone was on Brie Larson. Like she's a bitch. She's a bitch. It's like, okay, well, none of
I don't
us
need the
know
politics. I just like
I don't care.
Is she a good actor? Is her character?
I don't care about the actor. For me, the character was boring. She starts off a cosmic being. She ends a cosmic being.
Yeah,
she's power. She blows away everything. Look what she does in
Superman.
Endgame. She comes down and single-handedly takes out whatever it is. She takes out a ship or something.
Thanos is
his main ship.
Yeah, it's like okay, and then she did some bad writing reason why she has to leave. So
other people are having troubles too. Yeah,
it's just Anyway,
exactly. Yeah, no one likes an overpowered hero. You need them to struggle, or else they're.
Well, I just thought it was stupid that they're always telling her control your emotions the whole movie, and it's like she's underacting the most she's ever done in her career right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I
want to see her come into those powers. Like she really doesn't have much of an arc, right? So it's just boring.
Do you know what I want to see from her? I want to see Rogue steal her powers and there be X-Men movies. I want good X-Men movies. As much as I do like the X-Men movies, but the timelines and the characters that appear for the first time 3 different times and all that kind of like the messed up mess of those movies are. Honestly, I still like them.
It's one reason, dude. Jason and I stopped reading comic books in the 90s was because I remember getting out of Spider-Man. I know you're a Spider-Man guy. I remember getting out of it. And it was like there was, Crimson Spider and it was Ben Reilly and it was a clone and there was a clone of Parker. And I was just like,
the clone saga is where I stopped too.
It's kind of dumb, although Ben Reilly's a really cool Spider-Man. But then now you got the UK punk Spider-Man and you got this Spider-Man with the 6 arms. And it's just like, okay. And then all
was up with that shit?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah, the
doppelganger.
They're being intent.
The only time I know about doppelgangers is when I was playing Maximum Carnage.
Exactly.
Right. And I liked Venom. Venom was great, and I liked Carnage, but that's where it should stop. Now you got like Scream,
Planet of
this
the
guy and that guy, Anti-Venom and Super Venom,
Toxin and
Toxin.
Oh yeah, I totally hear that. Yeah, they in comics they do it all the time. They find something that works and then they try to do it right away. Like the death of Superman,
right? And
Superman's dead and he's out for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that really went well for us. Hey, how about? Well, we can't just kill Batman. He's just a guy. Okay, he'll be paralyzed, so he's out. And then he's got to fight his way back. So like the next year maybe it was 2 years later they did that. And you're like, so yeah, they're always gonna just push it until
the cover with Bane, right? When he snaps his back. I remember that one.
Because I think that's pretty much where Bane first came in. He released all Batman's rogues gallery, so Batman was worn right down from. He had to fight everyone and try and contain everything. And then when he's all worn out, he comes home and Bane breaks his back and throws him down the stairs into the Batcave. And then he's got to be replaced by the most 90s looking replacement of Batman I've ever seen. I don't know. You remember that, Chris?
No.
That Azrael Batman that goes crazy and he's got claws and he's all like gold and yellow and blue and
does he have that 90s tude?
Oh god. Yeah. So then Batman basically has to he's always got backup plans. That's Batman in a nutshell. Batman's got plans on plans on plans. So he's got a replacement for him right away. So people aren't like, oh no, Batman. Let's do the crime we were going to do anyway, but with more gusto because Batman's not around. So then comes in, he goes crazy. Then Batman has to rehabilitate and kick the shit out of him because he was like ready to start killing bad guys and stuff. I don't know. that comeback story was definitely better than Superman. So at least they made good on that. But yeah, like we said, we like them to have a weakness. So that's what makes Batman the most interesting DC character, I think.
Right.
Yeah, the most psychologically damaged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like dressing up as Batman because I know what Batman is.
Yeah.
But to be Batman and do that, you got to be pretty psychologically damaged, I think. So, I'll take it.
Speaking of Batman,
yeah.
what about that Batman movie that just showed up on HBO Max?
I'm so excited that it came out so soon because I went to see it when we were out of town, and it was like the opening weekend. I saw it was 3 hours. I know my kids are young, and I'm like, they barely sat through Ghostbusters with how much my youngest, he's 4, absolutely loves Ghostbusters almost as much as I do. And then he barely sat to watch that. I was like, he's not going to sit through a 3-hour dark ass movie. I'm sorry. As much as he likes Batman, he's not going to sit through that. So
Have you
my
seen
wife,
it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. My wife opted to stay back and watch the other kids while I took my oldest, and we went. It was a really fun daddy-daughter date. And I think it awakened Batman love in her now that after she's watched all through the entire Marvel universe, it seems like. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. What was your guys' thoughts on it?
Yeah, I saw it opening weekend with a bunch of friends, and I don't know if I knew what I was expecting when I went to see it. The trailers just kind of made it look like, things exploding, Batman is flying through Gotham, oh, Catwoman, whatever. But when it was over, I looked at my friends when the credits were rolling. I just kind of looked at them. I was like, that was the sequel to 7 I never knew I needed.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I did not think I was going to be watching a Batman movie that was like that dark, that intense. It was just brutal half the time. I was just like, God damn, I did not think I needed to watch that. I needed the movie. I loved every second of it.
It's for adults, right? It was great.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see a Batman from a different director that we didn't have to go through the murder of Thomas Wayne and all that stuff, where we got to see Batman established. It was nice to see Batman working alongside the police for once, instead of, they were like, what's he doing here? But he was still allowed in the crime scene.
Yeah,
they were shooting at him immediately and have him throw smoke pellets.
Detective work.
We've never really seen him be a detective in one of these movies before.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of 7. It is very, very dark, and I like the fight scenes were very minimal. I like that too. It wasn't this big action fest. It was, and
it made sense. They shot it in a way that you could actually see what was going on, even though they were in the dark, and have it make sense. And you get geography, so you know what's what. And
it was nice to see him more unhinged. It's very early in his career as Batman, and you can tell that he's at a point where he's having trouble pulling his punches. Like you see right from the first fight where he steps into those guys in the subway station, he knocks the guy out, but then he gives him like 2 more. You're like, he's down, man. He's down. Yeah. He gives him the 2 more, like, ugh. Like, all right, well, there's other guys you can do that too. Yeah. Speaking on like in realism, grounded, that's what we liked. Grittiness. That's what we liked about the Dark Knight trilogy. This is even more grounded and more realistic, I thought. The Dark Knight was pretty realistic, but he still had those like, whoa, where does he get those wonderful toys type gadgets? Mm-hmm. And this one, the only real, out there lens. Contact lens is the only real out there technology he uses, and I really liked that. Like, not everything is like a million things that he just happens.
I was just waiting for the Bat credit card to show up.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I like that the Batmobile was a believable.
It was like a modified car. Yeah,
like Andy Serkis
didn't look like a freaking tank.
Andy Serkis was an amazing Alfred. I thought I love
a lot of people I know were giving the movie shit about Bruce telling Alfred at one point, like, "You're not my dad."
Yeah.
And he's like, one of my friends is like a huge comic book fan, and it's just like, he would never say that to Batman. I'm like,
Yeah.
have you ever written for Batman?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I like that. Like we said, we like when they try new things. I don't go into a comic movie wanting exactly the story from the comics. You know, like I didn't.
Then there's no surprises for you. It's all you know how it's all going to end.
I didn't go to, you know, I don't know, Spider-Man 3 expecting maximum carnage. Like I was like, yeah, do your own spin on it. Even if it sucks, you at least tried something different, you know. I like it when it's different. And like he doesn't even live in Wayne Manor in this one. He lives in Wayne Tower, which is very different. Because some people were like, oh, I don't really like the Batcave in this one. You're like, it's not really the Batcave. It's more like the bunker from The Dark Knight. You know, that one with like where they film music videos and you immediately recognize it, where it's just like a hall of lights.
Yeah,
That bunker. It's basically a bunker. It's not really a Batcave. I
just
like that they do it. But
you don't have to have that backstory. You don't need it. You don't need to know. Like, not everything has to be explained to you. Like, modern movies now have to speak to us like we're stupid. It's like,
yeah,
I don't. You know what? I know he's Batman. I don't care if this doesn't make sense why his cave is here. I don't need to see that it's connected to the actual house. I don't care about that stuff anymore. Right?
yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
he's Batman. The fact that I'm watching Batman and I'm questioning this logic
Yeah.
is a problem. You know, like,
Yeah,
just
like-
enjoy the ride, man.
It's not a documentary. Like he didn't actually do that. Like people
I want to see the floor plans.
take it as fact. Yeah, yeah. There's no way the propulsion system on that would work like that. You know, when they just deconstruct things to, you're like I said earlier, we're all nerds. You don't need to deconstruct things to the point where you're like, all right, if you do that
Like,
to
just
everything,
take all the-
you'll hate everything.
Extract the fun out of it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So it's, I don't really have any complaints about the movie. I can really.
I will say is that whoever did the makeup effects in that movie had better win an Oscar come next year for The Penguin.
And I haven't really noticed a score in a movie for a while. But the
The
score to that
music in that movie is fantastic.
like that. Obviously, they're big on using the Nirvana song, which is great. And it's funny how like it's suddenly like the 30th anniversary of Nevermind is like this year, and they're like 30th anniversary featuring Smells Like Teen Spirit and Something in the Way. You're like, that's not the biggest hit off that movie, but that's just,
it will be.
you're like, that's just because of that. I'm like,
Batman,
I always
yeah.
like that.
if
I always like that song, but you're like, there's definitely.
I wonder
up
if that
until
little
that
kid
point,
that
there
was on the
that-
cover of the album is going to try to sue again now.
But look at the same
Not
thing
Batman.
happened in I think it was 90 or 91 when Wayne's World came out, and all of a sudden Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen was in the charts again. And that was a song that came out in 1978.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
exactly.
and all of a sudden it's the same thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like that song was huge again. And I remember
it's like-
on Much Music in Canada and MTV, they were playing the video again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would have, you know, cuts of Wayne's World shots in it and stuff like that. So it is cool to
Exactly.
see Nirvana in the charts again, of course.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny that the influence of the movie made that be like the second listed of the songs on that album, because like
Yeah.
that whole album's a banger and everyone knows it, but like
And that was
it's
never a
just-
single. That was
exactly like
never a single. Yeah.
there's a lot of like I would call bigger songs in this, but it was kind of cool to see like that all of a sudden, you know, elevate that. That was kind of cool.
But
Yeah,
I've watched it since it came out on HBO Max, so I've seen it twice now.
It's gotten bad. I saw it in the theater. We watched it immediately the day it came out, and I think I've watched it 3 other times since on my own.
That's
And
a lot
last-
of that's a lot of Batman.
I worked last nights. I worked nights last night, and a girl I worked with was kind of, you know, like, I'm excited for it, but I don't know what I should think of. And she wanted to watch it, and we usually trade off checks every 2 hours. I was like, I got 4 hours of checks, so you can watch that because you need to watch that uninterrupted. I would do that for anyone watching Batman. So I basically watched it again last night. So yeah, I was like, yeah, we got. I'm always excited for a Batman, but this was a pleasant surprise. You know, I wasn't let down like I was Batman versus Superman. I actually thought people didn't like Ben Affleck Superman, but I keep seeing people saying he's like the best Batman, and I don't know where they're getting that from. But
I mean, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
Oh. Yeah, you know what? I call him Affleck. I know it's not how you pronounce it. I don't know why I call him that.
Ben Affleck, is that from Bert
Ben Affleck.
Kreischer? I know Bert Kreischer says that too. Oh man, I saw that new movie with Ben Affleck.
I got to be honest. I've never seen Justice League or the Batman movie when he was Batman. Just he always comes across as like this smug, arrogant dude. He's so, to me, he's so unlikable.
Yeah.
I don't mean the guy. I don't know the guy. I just mean his character on screen and stuff. As Bruce
His
Wayne,
persona,
he's just
yeah.
so unlikable. It's just like he's always like, ugh.
Yeah, I found him to be a Batman that was just there.
And his suit sucks.
Politics about honestly, in the Justice League, it literally looks like he bought a Halloween costume off the right. Like you could see like the threads in it and crap. I'm like, it literally just looks like one of those suits with the padded muscles in it already. Like, did he not work out for this one? But that aside, like I think the best thing he did was that warehouse fight from the Batman v Superman. But then he just ups and breaks his Batman rule and shoots all the rest of the guys in the building with the bat plane after. So like that throws it right out the door. I don't know how just like on Man of Steel, everyone was like, he kills Zod at the end. What kind of shit? Like he kills, Superman doesn't kill. So I'm like, I don't think Zack Snyder cares about that. He just
I always took that as that was the thing that made him realize that he shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should also know that Hollywood doesn't care about the lore of any of these
source material.
characters.
Yeah,
They don't care, man.
No, source material doesn't matter.
And you got to take it. You got to take each director's vision and just appreciate it for what it is, and just don't let it keep you up at night. Right? If he kills Zod, he kills Zod. That's what Zack Snyder thought Superman should do. In the end, right? I mean,
honestly, I liked that movie anyway. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, basically the way I look at it is I don't get too upset about things. I mean, if it's something I've been looking forward to really, really hard for a while and then it ends up being shitty, I'll probably be a little bit more upset than generally. But the way I look at it is that, oh, you didn't like that movie? Don't watch it again. Oh, you wasted $8. Okay, well, you learned a lesson, I guess. But speaking of spending money, why don't we do some pickups?
Ooh.
We'll let you go first there, Jay. We always let the guests go first. New pickup.
Well, I've spent too much on toys, but recently there's a company called Super 7 who are hit and miss for me, but they've recently, last few years, made this line called Reaction, and the figures are 5 points of articulation based on the original Kenner Star Wars articulation, which is very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the style of the figures to kind of get back to basics. They've recently done G.I. Joe stuff, and my favorite character is Storm Shadow. This is the Reaction version 1 of Storm Shadow. So this is not the Hector Garrido art, who was the original artist. Obviously, he's passed on, but it's inspired, and we have the same kind of file card, the same kind of collect 'em all, which I really like, even the coming soon. There we go, to get you all excited for the new figures coming out.
Yeah, we need more like that. That's what I love about the throwback. With
the big issue with the Reaction figures is in Canada they're $21.99, which I think is absurd.
Yeah,
this should be like
something that small.
It should be like $12.
Exactly, dude. And this is made to be kept in the box. This is not meant to be taken out because the articulation is just poor.
Yeah, because you could get a Storm Shadow figure, like an older one, for like not as much. Just if you wanted a loose figure. Well, so you're not gonna spend 20 something bucks on that.
Yeah,
there's other options, cheaper options.
I'm not saying the original 83 the original 84 Storm Shadow it's just a better figure, right?
Yeah.
That came out in 1984. So, I mean, I've picked up that Coronation Starscream. He's on the shelf over there, but just toy stuff. Games, I'm sorry to say I haven't picked up anything game wise in quite a long time. I got Alex Kidd for PS5 a few months ago. I love Alex Kidd. Don't ask me why. He's always been my favorite mascot.
He's pretty cool.
And I haven't opened it, so it probably sucks because I haven't heard much about it. But
I have it too. I actually have it installed on my PS5, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
I think it's a remake of the first one, I believe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one of those, I think it's one of those
so.
ones where you can swap back and forth to the original graphics and the
Sure.
updated graphics. I think
It's cool, yeah. The sleeve too, you can flip it over and it has their Master System grid on it.
Yeah.
You can make it old school. I really like the PS4 one doesn't have that, but the PS5 does. So that's really cool. So.
I think it's because of the white label and
Yeah.
that's pretty.
So
cool,
yeah,
though.
that game wise, that's the only thing I picked up. But I'm looking forward to playing it one of these days eventually.
Yeah. Well, eventually, when I get down the line of my backlog for my PS5 games, yeah, I'll play it. I'm looking forward to playing it. When I installed it, it showed me some gameplay stuff, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to get in the market to finally buy a PS5 because God of War Ragnarok's right around the corner, and that's what's selling me a PS5. There's definitely games I do want, a couple games I do have already, but as far as gotta have the system, God of War is going to be it for me. So then I can.
Yeah.
I never buy a system right when it comes out. I wait till there's a good handful of games that are probably even going to be cheap by the time I get the system. So I usually get something about 2 years after, but this will be the first time where, even though it's been out for almost 2 years, it's
Which
still
is
going to be tough to get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll have to put in the work sooner rather than later. So I'm not like, I got God of War, but I can't find a PS5 still. So I'll be
Shit, dude, I had like 17 games for a PS5 I didn't even own yet because whenever I'd find them like on clearance, I would just buy them.
Oh yeah, well, our friend Church is the same way with Switch. I'm sure he's probably got almost as many Switch games as I do, and still, the Switch is just nothing that interests him. But one of these days he'll get one. Yeah, we just do that sometimes. If you get a deal, you get a deal. Especially when you're like, I'm gonna own it eventually. I might as well. If you're getting a deal, get a deal.
Yeah.
All day. But yeah, Chris, what do you got? What do you got? That's new.
I got some movies. I got some games. Not much. I haven't been buying much of anything for the past 2 months because I got a new car, and that's sucking up a lot of the disposable income, or what used to be disposable income.
It happens.
So I just got promoted at work, so that could offset things in my favor.
You can buy both of us games now. God
damn. So when it comes to games, if I do buy something like Jay was saying before we started recording, like, the retro prices are just kind of, it's not even worth it at this point.
No, you find a deal, you're going to get it, but you're not going to go.
I'm not even honestly, I haven't even been looking at retro stuff. I've just been focusing on modern.
It's really not worth it.
The furthest back I've been looking is maybe PS3.
Yeah.
But I've been buying a lot of PS5 stuff, and I talked about it earlier, but I picked up Miles Morales, Spider-Man. It's kind of like playing DLC.
Yeah, it's a shorter game. I found at least it didn't have as much of those repetitive side missions. Like,
I don't know, having to go
Like,
around
it's-
looking for sounds and stuff was kind of like, what?
yeah, it's streamlined it more than the main.
At least there was
Spider-Man game,
no. What was her name? Pinball or
Screwball.
Screwball? Oh, fuck that shit.
Screwball fucking sucks. By far my least favorite part of the first game.
But it was really cool. I beat this in probably like 8 hours.
Yeah,
But yeah, this is a launch game for the PS5. Speaking of launch games, I ended up buying a copy of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I think this was a launch game too.
yeah, I think so.
Why is it still $70?
Because
That they were giving that away free at EB Games for a long time when you got it. Yeah.
with the bundles,
Yeah, the bundles that they forced you to get. That game tanked, and not saying it's a bad game, but it tanked because I remember it was forced you were forced to buy it kind of thing. So everyone was just, oh, it's a giveaway. I don't want to play that game, but I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
I've heard
fantastic.
really
I saw some video. I saw some gameplay. I really enjoyed the last one that they made for the PS4.
Yeah.
So like when I started actively looking for a copy, and every single place I went, it was still $70. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, this game is like a year and a half old at this point. There's stuff that's been out for 3 months and it's already half off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. So I ended up going on eBay and I found a guy selling like his used copy for $25. So I ended up doing that.
sweet.
But yeah, it looks like a fun 3D platformer. New character, I think, like female
Yeah,
Ratchet. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm playing that eventually. But the one that I really wanted, and I had a real tough time tracking it down. I was at Best Buy, looking at movies and stuff, and the TVs that they had playing in the background, they kept showing the trailer for this game like on a loop. And the type of game it is, I'm like, I love that genre. Like, I totally want that. Every time I would go to a different store, they were completely sold out. But I eventually found a copy of Chorus, which is an in the cockpit, space flight simulator like Wing Commander, and I love Wing Commander.
Yeah.
I never heard of that, but I saw it at Walmart.
It looks fantastic, and I have not played it. It's still sealed, but like I eventually tracked it down on Amazon and got it for a decent price. But it looks like graphically looks fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to playing that. I'm probably going to play that I'll probably play this after I beat Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sweet. I almost grabbed that about 3 separate times because I first saw it and I was like, well, I'm not going to grab it because I've never even heard of it, which is pretty rare for us. We kind of got our ear to the ground on that kind of crap.
Well, same thing with the PS4. It's just like there's so much content coming out all the time. It's hard to keep track of it.
Yeah. And that's why we got the Backlog Roulette.
Oh, God.
Because like to keep up with the current gen stuff is enough. So when we're collecting the old stuff, that's why we kind of came up with it.
So that was all I was going to show off for games. For movies, obviously I picked up the 4K of Spider-Man No Way Home.
You gotta.
I haven't watched it yet, but I don't need to talk much about it. It was the biggest movie of last year.
Yeah, you've seen it. So
yeah, everybody's seen it.
We've already talked about it. Yeah.
Like a more
hidden gem.
Yeah, not a hidden gem, but like a more unknown movie. I bought a 4K. This didn't get a release on DVD or Blu-ray, and they released it on 4K. And when I saw it, the announcement for it, I immediately went and pre-ordered it. It's called the Sword and the Sorcerer.
That's a good movie.
It came out in 1982. My parents were stupid and took me to see this in the drive-in when I was 7 years old. This is one of the most R-rated like sword and sorcery movies you'll ever see in your life. The first thing that happens in a movie is a wizard rips a girl's heart out from across the room.
Yeah, it's pretty metal.
And the guy is birthed out of a bath of blood.
Oh, you got it.
But my parents
I got a VHS of that kicking around somewhere.
Yeah, I know, right? I always talk about how like when I was a kid, my parents wouldn't let me or my brother watch anything horror related. But if it was a science fiction or a fantasy movie that was rated R, they were like, whatever. Or an action movie. Like, you can't watch Friday the 13th, but you can watch Commando. You can't watch Jason kill somebody with a machete, but Arnold cutting that guy's arm off with the machete is A-okay.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I had backwards-ass parents like that, too, where you can't watch Simpsons because they're rude, but you can watch Terminator 1 where there's titties and swearing and killing.
But this is one of those fantasy movies where they took us to see at the drive-in, and I remember going, like, when the first thing you see is this demon rise up out of this blood pool, I was like...
It's great, isn't it? When movies used to be good.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when this showed up, because I haven't seen this in probably 15, 20 years. Yeah, when I popped it in, number one, it looks fantastic in 4K. It is a good transfer for like such a low budget movie. But like watching it, I was like, my parents took me to see this? Like there's hits everywhere and sex and violence. The guy has a sword that shoots blades out and stuff.
It was your awakening.
It's something.
Well, it's like, did you ever watch Conan the Barbarian as a kid?
Oh yeah,
because I did.
Yeah, my parents were like, they had no problems as long as it wasn't a horror movie. If it was rated R, it was fine. Like my parents. Okay, so 1980, I was 5 years old. My parents took me to see Heavy Metal at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Their idea behind it was it's a cartoon. It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't know anything about the license, what Heavy Metal was.
Well, that's
and then the first thing that happens is this guy melts, and then cab driver's banging this girl on, his. And I'm like, oh shit, we made a mistake.
We fucked up.
Yeah.
Conan though, but I'm pretty sure I got to watch all that stuff because my dad is a huge Arnold fan, just like me. I'm like, yeah, you guys can watch Terminator, and stuff like that. When I was a kid, my dad met Arnold probably like 3 separate times. And then I remember we went to Columbus because my dad was into bodybuilding stuff for a while. And it was like the Arnold puts one on. I think it's called the Arnold Classic or something. So we went to Columbus and my mom and I had to wait in the hotel because my dad was at the convention. And then he met Arnold. And it was the summer Terminator 2 came out. So... long story short, I'm putting my dad in a home as like soon as possible because of that. I told him that. Like, yeah, I don't care if you're, still fully functioning, able to take care of yourself. You're going in a home because you met Arnold without me the year my favorite movie of all time came out. So.
Oh man, I met Chuck Norris once. And he was nice.
You live to tell about it. There you go.
Yeah, I know. Oh, well, almost, because my mom embarrassed the shit out of me in front of him.
Hey, someone
Yeah,
else.
what was it? Braddock Missing in Action 3 had just come out, and like I said, with the R-rated stuff, I've been watching all the other missing in action movies, Rambo movies, all this kind of crap without an issue as a kid. We go to get he had just released a book, and he was signing it at the local mall, and we went to see him so she can get the book signed. And while we're standing there, I was kind of like standing off to the side, and she goes, "Hey, is it okay for my kids to go and see Missing in Action 3?" And it was rated fucking PG-13. Compared to all these other R-rated action movies I've been watching for years.
Right,
and I turn and look at her, I go, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Yeah, it should be okay. I guess it's up to your choices." And I was like, "Yeah." And I look at him, I go, "I have seen part 1 and 2." And he goes like, "Okay." But he saw how embarrassed I was. He goes, "Come here." And he like shook my hand.
Oh, Mom.
That's like your
Yeah.
mom letting you see RoboCop 1 and be like, do you think you'll be fine seeing RoboCop 3?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That is basically what happened. But anyway, getting back to pickups, the last movie I was going to show off was another 4K I picked up. And this is the one that is a mistake. And I picked up Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Okay.
This was released like the year after the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie came out. And I remember I was working at a video store at the time this came out. I remember watching it at the video store. And I wasn't really paying attention to it. But I remember going like, "Oh, that seemed pretty cool." So when they announced this about 2 months ago, I pre-ordered it, and when it showed up, I popped it in like the day it came out, or the day it showed up, and I was just like, "Oh no. If Bram Stoker's Dracula was like that dark, serious one, this is the goofy, silly, cheesy one. It has like terrible music, the makeup is terrible, the acting is terrible. It's just stupid.
I don't think I've ever seen the entire movie.
You don't need to, trust me. I did a blind buy and I paid the price.
I remember it being really overacted and stuff like that. Like even thinking that as a kid when I
There's
saw
like 2 scenes in it that are pretty good. Like the scene where Frankenstein kills, or the monster kills Frankenstein's wife is nasty as hell. And like what the resulting resurrection of her and all that is kind of cool. But everything else is just kind of like, it's just done in such a cheesy way. It kind of blew my mind. And I remember reading that Francis Ford Coppola saw the first cut of this because he produced this, because it was supposed to be like a companion piece to Dracula. And when he saw the first cut of it, he disowned the movie and had wanted his name taken off of it. That's how bad he thought it was. And I was watching and I was like, "I see what you were talking about there, sir."
Yeah.
So,
Don't credit me in any way for this.
yeah, and it's bad. I was like, I might just be getting rid of it. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever need to watch it again.
Aw.
So
Maybe.
there is that. Anyway.
All right. Well, I guess I'll hurry up and get through my shit. Yeah. Well, so far for games, not much. Some small stuff. My kids have gotten into Plants vs. Zombies out of nowhere. So
Did you buy figures?
No.
Okay.
I just bought these. I saw these at the last time I was at GameStop.
Aren't those online multiplayer games?
They're dirt cheap. Yeah, they're and you can play them. I don't have Xbox Live, but you can still play them online. So that's cool. Speaking of my kids, they've been watching this game on YouTube like continuously, and it's a step up from the other games. It actually seems like a game, not just like a phone game. But it's the Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. You actually walk around and do things in this game.
Shit.
Not sit in a chair and turn on lights and turn off lights
and close doors.
Close doors. Yeah, it's actually.
I do want to try the VR version that I have.
Yeah, my kids
works,
have gotten into VR because I bought that for my daughter for Christmas because she asked for it, and yeah, it's exactly what I described. I'm like so sick of watching them play that game that I'm like, play any other VR game. I brought in like my whole library of games.
Yeah, here's Blood and Truth. Just play Blood and Truth.
Yeah, just play Trover Saves the Universe. No, I'm just kidding. No, they
play Iron Man.
Yeah, they've dabbled in the other ones and they've finally like kind of broke away from the game because it's incredibly boring to watch and they play the same levels over and over. I'm like, with how much you've watched this, you figure you know how to beat it easily by now. But yeah, anyway, so that's been I've actually almost enjoyed watching them play that one, which is fun. So And then the other day on the way to work, a friend of mine who lives right around the corner from where I work messaged me, yeah, you know anyone who'd buy a original Xbox? Send me a picture of the system and a bunch of games. And I said, not really sure. I don't need one, but would you sell some games? He said, yeah. I picked a couple out. I was trying not to spend any money, but I was like, a couple of these I got to have. First one I got was Alien vs. Predator Extinction.
That was pretty fun.
The RTS game. I like it. I have it on PS2, but it's one of those games. It was cheap enough that I was like, I will double dip on that. King Arthur. Honestly, know next to nothing about it. I watched some gameplay and it looked decent, so I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
You know me with licensed games. I'll probably buy it at some point.
You don't have it? Maybe I'll,
No.
King Arthur with the box art. The guy looks like he's from Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah.
That's the one where Keira Knightley's in a body harness.
Yeah.
They all have like salon
Right there,
hair. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's wearing Lilu Dallas's outfit, but she doesn't have the t-shirt. It's just the straps.
King Arthur's doing Blue Steel.
Yeah.
Good thing. Good stuff. Half-Life 2.
Nice.
I got it on the orange box, and I think I got it on PS2, but whatever. Rainbow Six, Critical Hour. I'd never even heard of this one. So I just added it. I think I have all the other ones. Not that I went out of my way. And speaking of having all the other ones, I think this is the only one I didn't have. I had to check my collection. I swore I did have it, but a deal must have fell through or something. But the original Forza Motorsport.
Nice.
I don't like these. They're like I would compare them. They're basically Xbox Gran Turismo. I hate the Gran Turismo games, but you Chris turned me on to the Forza Horizon games, which are like open world, actually fun. I'm not even that big into racing games, but
it's like Burnout kind of.
I love the Forza Horizon games. They're amazing. So I was like, well, I've seemed to acquire the rest of them. I might as well get the first one that started it all. Probably never play it, but
hence the backlog.
Such as collecting, I guess. Yeah. But that's it for games. Nothing really new for movies. I also got Spider-Man. There's been no DC animated movies. I don't think I've really.
The Catwoman one, I think, was the last one that came out.
Yeah, I showed you that last episode there. So I'll just hop right into the other crap. Talking a lot about Batman, so I'll start with Batman.
Wow,
let me know how many times you hear the grinding.
I really became. I really wasn't prepared for this. I used to show up like one thing. You guys have like stacks of stuff.
Yeah, so
I toned it down. I seriously toned it down.
Well, I bought the Battinson figure like my last trip, but then after I saw it in the theater, I went back to GameStop after seeing this, and I was like, I got to get this. I love the styling on it, the red shading.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was he at the ring at the beginning of Blade?
Yeah. It looks more like something from Sin City, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Comes with a cool backdrop. I always like these backdrops.
That makes sense then.
Yeah, they have a regular version where it's just, but I'm like, I got the figure of that. I don't need to have a small version and a big version. Moving on, I got the gold label hazmat suit Batman. Where, you know me, I'll dog on everyone else for doing too much of one character, but I'll buy every one of these Batman figures. He lights
Holy
up.
Shit.
Yeah, sorry if I blinded you.
He's a cell phone.
Yeah. That's cool. I think that's the only difference between the gold label and the regular.
Like, anyone got a flashlight? You pull the Batman figure out of your pocket.
I'm like, yeah, good thing I've got this on me. My phone died. So I got that. Then the last Batman I got is the Year 2 McFarlane.
Yeah, that thing's weird.
McFarlane
rad.
McFarlane doing the McFarlane thing. He's
I was
kind
going
of
to say
pain in the
that
ass to get to stand on the stand, but
just change the head out and it's a Spawn figure.
It's funny because you can take the cape off and he has no arms. He's just like this, and then you add the arms and a little felt cape if you feel like. But I already got that kind of style of him, so I was like happy to find that. It's one of those where you walk in and you find way more than you were intended on buying. I got Lex Luthor because I figure I got a couple Supermans. I might as well have someone to fight that guy. And I actually went in just to pick this up, but it was the Killing Joke Joker, the comedian from McFarlane has been told by WB not to put any guns with any of their characters, so I had to take a Terminator gun and give it to him.
Well, McFarlane's actually making generic weapon accessory packs soon.
which is good.
Ah.
They're
Which is
not
good.
labeling it DC, but they are for their DC
Yeah.
figures.
That's
Yeah,
kind of dumb that they would limit them like that.
Yeah,
Especially if you see like the new I can't remember the new Batman game that's coming out where you're not Batman. It's like Robin.
Where you're like
Nightwing.
Nightwing and all that.
Yeah, and the
Arkham
Red Hood.
Knights, or no,
the-
Arkham. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, but it's like
Something like
Batgirl,
that, yeah.
Robin, and Nightwing.
Yeah.
and Red Hood, and the Red
Red
Hood
Hood.
figure has come out, and he doesn't have a gun. He's literally doing this. It's like Red Hood literally has pistols. That's what he does.
That's his thing, right?
It's funny because
It's so stupid. Like,
And I don't know much about Red Hood except from that movie that came out about him, that animated
Yeah.
movie. But I mean, at least
Yeah.
I remember from that, I was like, he uses guns all the time.
it's basically the same idea as Arkham Knight in the Arkham Knight game. It's
was Jason Todd the second Robin, right?
yeah,
He's-
that's it was supposed to be a big spoil, a big twist in the Arkham Knight game, but you're like, that's Robin. That's Robin right away. Anyone who's actually knows anything about the comics is like, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. Yeah, the funny thing is they put out a Red Hood figure like 2 years ago, and he came with 2 guns. We've got
That's a
Batman.
great figure. Yep.
We've got the it's fine. It's just like a new thing. They're like, suddenly, even though this is our stance on gun violence, is our action figures won't come with
These
guns.
figures aren't made for kids
Yeah.
either, which is hilarious. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Moving on, I got another Joker. We got the Death of the Family Joker, where he's wearing his own face as a mask. Comes with a
Ooh.
bat axe. Pretty neat. I didn't even know. I don't even remember this one being announced. I just remember kind of looking around on Amazon while I was bored, and I saw him, and I was like, oh, that must be a pre-order. And I ordered them, and they just shipped them right away. I was like, cool. Usually I'm on top of that, but Todd announces so much shit. Sometimes stuff falls through the cracks, I guess. That's about it for DC figures. Then we got a couple of Spawn ones. We got Bone Crusher and Raven Spawn. I've seen these the last couple times I've gone in GameStop, and they're so nicely priced that I was like, yeah, I'm going to add them. I've got a bunch of spawns, like including that Kickstarter spawn I got last year. I was like, yeah, he needs someone to go with him. I don't just need a bunch of spawn by himself. I got Violator on the way. He'll be here probably next episode.
Not the vibrator, but the violator.
Yeah. And kind of game related, but also I just got it because of what it came with. But they had the collector's edition of the Avengers game, and as I mentioned earlier, it's pretty lackluster. I beat it on the PS4, but the Xbox collector's edition was like $40, and it comes with all this stuff. So I got a Hulk bobblehead. It says "Love Tony" on it. It's a gift to me from Tony from Beyond the Grave. We got a Mjolnir keychain. It's heavy as shit. I might hang it on my keys in case I need to defend myself. For some reason, a Black Widow belt buckle. I'm not Black Widow, so I have no right to wear it. I hate to flex on you guys, but I'm an honorary Avenger now. So Jay automatically thinks I'm more boring as a
Damn.
result.
That's amazing.
Sort of flex on you guys. So yeah, and it comes with I'm not going to even show them, but there's a Iron Man suit blueprints. There's a picture of all the Avengers. And then, of course, I'm a Steelbook slut, so happy to have a Steelbook of that. But the reason I bought it is because I had to have it for America's ass.
For Cap,
Cap
That's
America.
a cool statue, yeah.
I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll get it for that. It was originally like $280 Canadian, and they just literally were putting a price on it when I walked in. I was like, oh, here comes this guy. He'll buy this junk. So,
And you know what?
I did. I almost bought 2 in case one of my friends was like, oh, I would have got the other one, but yeah, whatevs. Quickly, I'll go through the rest of the shit I got. I got Studio Series 76 Soundwave. Soundwave's my favorite Transformer, so add him to the shelf of Soundwaves. A couple rando ass Hot Wheels. I got a stubby Batmobile. I got an Enterprise.
Oh, my dick just got hard.
Hot Wheels Enterprise? Wow, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it was like $1, and I just saw it.
I used to have that, and I sold it to that Freak Toys place by Rocket Sauce.
I was trying to buy comics, but I've since fixed this. I finally found an app that works for cataloging my comics, so I know what I got. And I bought a couple of randos that I actually didn't have, and then I saw these sitting there, so I bought Homelander and Starlight for the boys. I'm hoping they put out more of these. I think they just released the
Deep.
No, not the Deep. What's it like? The Dark? Is that what they call him? The Black? I can't remember. The guy that doesn't talk, basically.
Batman.
Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes Batman. Yeah, doesn't talk. Doesn't. He's kind of a ninja dude. Yeah, I want that one. Randomly, I've got the Mutagen Man from the NECA 2-pack with Ace Duck. My friend was selling them, and he's like, "Oh." And I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed with him. Like, he looked kind of cool in the picture. When I got him, I was like, "Eh." What I really want is the original. It was one of my favorite toys back in the day, but he was really weak, and I remember him breaking like a week after I got him, even though I took good care of him, because you could fill him with water and all this little gross shit would float around in there. Yeah, he doesn't have any of that, but yeah, happy to have him anyway. So I'll use his alternate face to describe regrettable purchase.
Whoa.
Then going on to more Marvel quickly. I got Binary, which is I think a cooler version of Captain Marvel.
Dude, you bought a lot of stuff. Holy cow.
Yeah, we got Odin, and
Jay, you have no idea.
I can see that.
These guys were clearance. I've been playing the long game on them. I'm not paying $40 each, as we stated. I got them for like 18, I think they were. We got Zemo. We got Despair.
He isn't doing this in the background.
Yeah, he's got the fist pumped though.
No,
There you go. We got Sleepwalker, which I'm really surprised to see Sleepwalker.
Yeah, he was a surprise in that wave. I remember seeing him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a surprise character.
Yeah, I've got no real want for any of the ones in that wave, except Despair was really cool. Admittedly, I didn't know much about him. I was like, I think I've got a comic with him, but I'm like, he just looks metal, so I'm buying him. It's one of the only figures I've bought with no knowledge of the character going, yeah, he looks pretty metal, I'll buy him. And then probably my favorite two of this whole lot, I got the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary Captain America with his really cool shield effects.
That's a great figure.
This is I would call this the most comic perfect Captain America figure I've ever seen.
Yeah,
He's got the
awesome.
bullet ricochets. If he's fighting someone with a sword, he's got like a slash. He's got lightning to stick on there. He's got the alternate face and his little mask, whatever. But probably my favorite Hulk figure is the 20th anniversary Marvel Legends.
Those balls are these.
Great.
It's like they got, they're a bit more than the standard, but they actually come with like extra cool stuff, I think. And finally, like the classic Marvel Legends, they've got the backdrops. So there's Captain America's got this, got that one. Hulk's got this one. He's got a smashed wall, or the Hulk 314, I believe it is. Yeah, I really like this issue. And once my Rhino from the Retrowave shows up, I'm gonna try and recreate this picture with my figures.
Oh, nice.
I want to start, now that I've got the shelves set up and I can just like take stuff right off the shelf and I'm going to try and do more photography, that kind of crap. I've seen so much cool creative stuff, and I think I could try my hand on that. So that's it. Sorry. Wake up, guys. I'm done.
That's a lot.
Yeah. That's why I don't like waiting too much in between these episodes. I accumulate so much crap that just sits on this desk.
I think
it would
happen anyway. It would happen anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and also I got this Wolverine mech Lego set because they don't do enough X-Men, I believe. Like that's only I needed a yellow suit Wolverine for my minifigures, so that's the whole reason I bought it. I don't need another mech, but it's like $12. So
Golly. A lot of stuff, brother. Good for you.
sorry, my throat's dry now. Talking all that shit about toys, but yeah, it's been a good month, but it's gonna slow down now. You're not gonna see as much Marvel stuff, I guess, now, which is a real. I feel like I broke up with Marvel after those announcements, and then the next day seeing the prices on them going up another $7 from what they were currently. And I thought just Toys R Us was doing that because like I said, Toys R Us is a big deal. They hit up every time we go to town, and they took the prices of stuff that's been sitting on the shelves for over a year and like added the new price point to it. So stuff that's been sitting around for $32 is suddenly $42, and you're like, what? I guess I'm not buying anything here today. And then good old Todd, his prices haven't really changed at all. So I guess I'm gonna be going all in on DC now because I've got a problem.
I gotta feed the beast.
I gotta buy something. I can't just accumulate money and save it. So yeah, I feel like I got priced out of another hobby I really liked. So that sucks. It's not that I can't afford it. It's just like I don't think it's worth it. They're not adding anything new to the figures, and they're charging every wave that's come out the last year. And I know, Chris, I talked about just getting back into them during the pandemic after like boycotting the $30 price point because there used to be 15 and 20. And then being like, 30? No, never. And then I can't go anywhere or buy it. Oh, yeah, $30 is okay, I guess. Then, 32. 33, 34, 36. And then, $40. They're premium because they say they're premium, but they don't come with anything extra. Hands.
No, what they do is they spread them out.
Yeah.
So for Boba Fett, they'll take the backpack and helmet off and put it beside him.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Scam, man. Yeah.
They put more spacing in between everything in the packaging. So pretty soon the hands will be like an inch away from them, and the head. Oh, look at all the cool stuff it comes with, and they'll have background imaging to make it look like super cool packaging. So you're like, yeah, this is totally worth a $20 price hike. So yeah, unfortunately, I'll still look for deals. Like I'm still interested in those figures. I'm just not that interested. I feel like
you'll be getting them. You should be getting them a year later when they're on clearance.
It's like I get it. Stuff's going to go up. It always does. It always has. But the drastic raises and stuff is what's really like, nah, you lost me. Like I still want those, but I don't $48 want the Iron Spider. I was so stoked on that. Out of all the stuff they announced, there's some really cool stuff. But I know I bitched about the Origins Iron Spider being the only character figure, and when I opened everything that I really hated. So I was like, yes, I can replace him and give the other one to the kids. And please tear this one apart. I want to see this one broken. I want to step on this one in the middle of the night.
You want it embedded in the bottom of your foot.
Yeah, well, I want to crush this under my foot, but not do it on purpose. Yeah. Well, yeah, that about does it for all our topics. Should we spin that wheel for some backlog roulette?
Damn right.
Yeah, I got about less than 5 minutes left, guys.
All right,
I got stuff to do.
Sounds good.
I can't believe
up.
it's the time has flown by like crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely been a good talk. So we'll get this done, and that's pretty much we do at the end of every episode. So we'll try and get you out of here on time. Yeah, so backlog roulette is for people who don't know. You make a list of from 0 to 36, and double 0, and it can be anything: movies, games, anything you just want to catch up on. You intend to play, you intend to watch, but for some reason you never do. Life's busy. We found a solution. So last episode, I got Heavenly Guardian. I really enjoyed it for the PS2. What'd you get, Chris?
I got Killzone, and I did not enjoy it.
That seems to be our theme. I get a game, I enjoy it, I beat it. Chris goes, it was crap. I stopped playing it.
I did, but I played it. I played about 4 stages of it, and I was like, "This is so not fun." I just said, "I'm not." There's other things I want to do that are fun.
Yeah.
So I stopped.
So I managed to beat it. It was only like a 3-hour game, maybe 3.5 hours. It was really cool. It was like Pocky and Rocky. So I recommend it if you can get it as cheap as I did.
Yeah, I've played that too. It's pretty fun.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's spin this wheel.
Hey, Jason. Spin the wheel.
Yo, DJ.
That's an actual wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't use apps. We're old school here.
That's
Yeah, no
awesome.
randomizers in this place.
And, instead of a ball, I've got the red and white mushroom from Mario to be on brand for us. We got number 6.
Oh, jeez.
What do you got?
I got Turok 3 on the Nintendo 64, my favorite console of all time.
Sure it is.
Fuck!
All right. What do
Turok 3. Oh, brutal.
I remember liking Turok 2 the best because it had that cerebral bore where you could lock on guys and it
You see
drilled into their
brain
head
matter
and blew up.
shooting out of the head.
Yeah, you know I'm all about that.
They're
shit.
making that vomit noise while they're running around. Yeah.
All right, what do I got here? What the hell is my list? Oh, there it is. Number 6. I clicked on it and then it went away. Where is it? Where are you at? It's ducking me.
It ghosted you.
Ooh, this might be the first game I don't beat. I got Ikaruga. The notoriously hard shmup game.
Yeah.
So
With the light and dark bullets.
Yeah, we'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
I'm up for a challenge.
You have fun with that one. I'll see.
You guys like to torture each other. That's kind of cool.
What's that?
You guys like to torture each other. That's kind of cool. Because
Yeah.
neither one of those games sound like any kind of a good time at all.
Yeah, well, it's, we try to pick a game under 10 hours so that we can feasibly play it before the next episode.
Sure.
We don't even need to beat it, but it's a game you could beat.
Give it a try. Yeah, at least we've played it.
For the most part, I've managed to beat every game that I've gotten so far.
And I beat 2.
Yeah, and then yeah, it is what it is. This one's gonna be a tough one, so I'm up for the challenge. The only one I didn't beat before the episode was I got Astro Boy game for the PS2. And I totally just spaced it until we were recording, and I beat it like that night. And then I beat another like punishment Astro Boy game for forgetting, like a couple days after. So that was fun. All right, well, I look forward to that. Hopefully, you enjoy your game, Chris.
I hope so too.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Jay. I appreciate you being here and taking your time out.
Thank you very much.
I always like I'm someone who can talk toys with, so. It's
you guys are a blast. Yeah, it was totally fun. Like I said, the 2 hours flew by. I looked at the live clock there. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It was definitely a fun episode. So why don't you tell people what you got going on coming up, where they can get a hold of you and find your content.
Yeah, we have our Kickstarter starting this Tuesday for Action Figure Adventure Season 2, which is our episodic TV show. If you guys want a copy of the Blu-ray, now's your chance to do so. There's multiple tiers with multiple rewards, so check that out on Tuesday. My own personal YouTube channel is just plain and simple Jay Bartlett. I don't have any kind of fancy name. It's just Jay Bartlett, and I do lots of toy stuff.
Yeah, I'll post links in the description of our episode. So
do it now. Come on,
just click on that and find you. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's really informative. Some really entertaining stuff. And Nintendo Quest, we didn't even get around to talking about it, but amazing. You took a month to collect the entire NES set.
I was dared
to
collect all 678 licensed retail carts in 30 days, and it shaved at least 10 years off my life, guaranteed.
So if you want to see how it panned out, definitely check that out too. So all right, thanks again for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Cheers.
Do it. Come on.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Bye.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.